Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Voice podcast. This is Vernon R.E. Jones, managing broker, owner of Jones Homes, and for over 30 years, we have serviced the 7-county Denver metro area. Happy New Year, happy holidays. Hope all the season went well for you and yours. Welcome to 2023. This is our first podcast in 2023. And we wanted to talk about the major fear that I'm getting from most of my clientele. And is it fear, concern, worry? Well, let me answer it this way. Here are 5 reasons this is not a repeat of the 2008 housing crash. Many homeowners are still haunted by the 2008 housing crash, when property values collapsed and foreclosures spiked. 41% of Americans fear that a housing crash is going to happen in the next year. Are their fears well-founded? Well, no. I'm going to tell you 5 things that kind of say what is so different now than it was in 2008. Number 1, the labor market remains strong. In the last major housing downturn, there were 8 million job losses in a single year. Now there are virtually none. Listen to me again. 8 million job losses in a single year. Though layoffs in the technology and market industries are occurring, they have not accumulated enough to form a net job loss. A strong job market bodes well for the housing's future. Number 2, less risky loans. Subprime loans that were prevalent during the 2008 housing bust are basically non-existent due to government regulation. Number 3, underbuilding and inventory shortages. New home construction prior to the 2008 crash was amounting to 7.5 million units annually. Today, 4.6 million. That is a massive housing shortage from a decade of underbuilding in the housing market. Some economists, brokers, mortgage bankers that I know and brokers talk about that we probably need 5 to 6 million more homes to go to a more normalized market. And the underbuilding continues. If you look at my podcast that I've done, I think my most recent one, the last one in December, it talks about home builder sentiment. Listen to that as well. Number 4, delinquency lows. About 10% of all mortgage borrowers were delinquent on their loans in the previous housing bust. The mortgage delinquency rate now is at 3.6%, holding at historic lows. Number 5, ultra low foreclosure rates. Homes in foreclosure reached a rate of 4.6% during the last housing crash, as homeowners who saw their property values plunge just walked away from their loans. Today, the percentage of homes in foreclosure is 0.6%, also at historic lows. And those are predicted to remain there in 2023. I will tell you that the real estate market will contract, as some areas have, and they will continue to contract. I think in one of my e-newsletters I mentioned that I'm expecting a downturn in home prices anywhere from 3 to 7%. Locally, nationwide, it could vary depending on where you're at. But understand affordability is going to be key into how much your particular market contracts. Where there's higher affordability, there'll be less contraction. There'll actually be more record high home price value escalations. However, when affordability is tougher, you will see those have a more serious contraction. But again, it varies, and it's going to vary state to state, city to city, depending on one, and I always say this, the labor market. Interest rates have chased some people away, and basically the affordability piece has shrunk the people available to buy. But all those are questions that are going to be touched on in 2023, and we'll see how the Federal Reserve Board's influence of rates may cause them to increase, mortgage interest rates, of course, or maybe stay pat. I'm hearing from a lot of my sources, and me looking at data, you might see the mortgage interest rate hanging around between 6 and 7% all year. There may be, toward the fourth quarter of 2023, rates hanging around the 5.5% range. But that is based on numbers. It's based on what we're seeing now. But of course, those things could change. Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Voice Podcast. If you got any questions, feel free to call me at 303-359-8218. Be more than happy to answer any of those questions you have. As always, again, thank you for listening, and please be safe.